What's up, guys, and welcome to another edition of Pro Wrestling Pulse. Alongside my partners Robert and Ryan, I am J-Man. Robert making his guest appearance, I guess, because on his show, Pro Wrestling Fan Show, he refers to his appearances on the Pro Wrestling Pulse as guest appearances. What the fuck is that?
Because you guys should be honored that I'm here.
Can we talk about how I know you guys out there in YouTube land can't see. We can, though. How unbelievably outstanding his mustache is.
I can get it. There it is. Boom.
Trying to be like Cody Rhodes. I'm working on it.
Truly.
Little by little, I'm gonna be Cody.
He is gracing us with his guest appearance here on the review that we're going to do for TNA Lockdown 2013. Just getting off the air with the pay-per-view. Now, when me and Quaddy did the preview for this, obviously we had extremely harsh words for numerous portions of this card. Well-deserved in the outcome on some of these. But there was one significant thing that I said that ended up happening on this card that I said if this happened, it would turn everything around for this pay-per-view and quite possibly for TNA in the long run. You never know. And we finally had that with the outcome of the main event match for the TNA World Championship. Interesting stuff here.
Give a spoiler out.
Well, I'm not telling you what's happening.
Okay.
I'm just saying what happened. It's something.
You should make them wait for it.
Something did happen. I will make you guys wait for it. So you have to watch the whole fucking video. You guys will anyway. With the outcome,
because I'm here.
That's right, guest appearance. With the outcome of the TNA World Championship match and what ended up coming out of that, and the interesting stuff that's going to be going on into the future there, with a big angle that's definitely been taking over TNA by storm. We'll get to that in the end, but first off, we're going to cover everything else that happened on this card. We had the first matchup, we had the triple threat match for the X Division Championship between champion Kenny King, Zema Ion, and Christian York.
Yeah, this was pretty good. They did a good job setting a lot of stuff up in this match, a lot of great spots. I think Kenny King was a bit excited to get going in this match. He kind of didn't take his time to set things up, and sometimes you get some cool spots if you do that, and sometimes you're like Christian York where you take 45 seconds to set up every move you do. And you just fall asleep while you're waiting for combinations of X Division style moves to occur. But overall, this was a good combination. All three of these guys had a lot of great spots. Kenny King tried to do the springboard off of I don't even know who it was in the middle rope. One of them in the middle rope. And
backstage, they had the discussion. All right, guys,
Zema Ion.
We're gonna have Zema Ion in the middle rope. We're gonna have Kenny King vault off of a oily, sweaty backed Zema Ion. And do a moonsault. And that'll work.
Yeah, well,
Nope.
Kenny King is like 6'4" or something.
He's a big dude. We met him in person.
He's a big dude. He's
nice
bigger
dude
than I thought. But if he would have actually executed the moonsault, he would have landed in the crowd.
Yeah, he'd have been like third row.
He landed neck/head first on the back of the rail and just dominated his head. But overall, the spots in this were great. It was a good X Division style match. One of the better X Division matches I've seen in a while when it comes to television and pay-per-view. It was just good. It wasn't like, outstanding, great, or anything like that. But the outcome of Kenny King, getting the win here, retaining, was good. And overall, I think it was a pretty solid opener.
And like we said, yet again, when you put the X Division Championship on a guy that fits and a guy that is just perfect for it, like a Kenny King, like we've been saying all along, put the X Division Championship on Kenny King, you're going to produce, some great stuff in the X Division. And this is what happened here. A solid opener that really gets everybody excited for the rest of the stuff that's going to be happening on your card. And that's what they executed here. And Kenny King's still your X Division champion in that matchup there. Next up, we had the outstanding battle. As I said on the preview, as they listed it on Wikipedia, like I said, they give little paragraph segments that explain everything. This one was another match added on the card. It's Joey Ryan versus Joseph Park. Period. Robert actually had it wrong in the preview he did on his video. He thought Matt Morgan was facing Joseph Park.
I was hoping.
No one really cared. We have Joey Ryan going up against Joseph Park. Not Matt Morgan. Your boy. Blueprint.
Yeah.
DNA of TNA.
The DNA.
This match would have been a whole hell of a lot better if Matt Morgan would have been in it.
Would it?
Well,
shit.
Let's see. You had Joey Ryan rubbing oil over himself.
You would have had a lot more hair in it because he's got a Nardog beard going.
Nardog.
Like Duck Dynasty, that's why. Matt Morgan is probably a Duck Dynasty fan. Anyway.
Show's dumb.
Yeah, Joey Ryan just trying to rub oil.
You just offended a lot of YouTubers.
I did. I'm sorry, but that show's so fucking rigged and stupid. I'm sorry. Go on.
They're stupid rednecks. What do you expect?
I know.
Anyway. What happened? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Joey Ryan rubbing oil over himself.
Just stop talking. Joseph Park won this matchup. We're just gonna fucking end it now.
It was
Far too
That's
much
how long
time
the match
put onto
lasted.
that. Joey Ryan rubbing oil over himself. That's all you needed to say.
The match was
That's what happened. Next up, we have the Knockouts title line win champion Velvet Sky went up against Gail Kim, aka this is J-Man's fucking kind of matchup right here, with it being refereed by Taryn Terrell, and with Taryn Terrell getting heavily involved in this. Had a lot of stuff with Taryn and Gail going back and forth. Obviously, that kind of heel face kind of shit they do with the special referee kind of things you normally see, but Taryn not really a special referee. She's refereed every fucking Knockouts match they've had over the past couple months. Having to get it in the kind of altercation there, having her spear Gail, we got all fired up and shit, and yeah, that was great to see. Obviously, with all these people in this match, I cannot say that there's not a perfect fucking Knockouts match. I don't care about the quality, just who were in it. That's just J-Man right there. Velvet retaining off of the ovary driver.
the ovary driver.
Ovary driver.
Yeah.
That's what we're calling her finish. Velvet's still the Knockouts champion. We had the little backstage thing going on with Taryn and Gail getting in another little scrap backstage. As a revert to an old Pulse video, another get-together.
Good old get-together.
Good old get-together there backstage. Looks like Taryn might be competing in the ring soon. I don't really know. Probably is what they're aiming towards there.
She's got an edge like spear.
Please shut your fucking mouth, Robert. Don't ever say that again. You just compared Edge to Taryn Terrell.
No, I said that I compared
No, you
the
did.
spear.
You did.
I said edge like spear.
Comparison. Guest performance. Right there. Guest performance for the Pulse. Wow. Velvet Sky, still your Knockouts champion in that match up there. Next up, as I said, there's portions of this card that made a lot of sense why I shat all over it.
Shat. I like that.
We had the battle of two Robbies. We had Robbie E going up against Robbie T.
I legitimately sat here for like 5 minutes trying to think of a famous Robbie that could have won this match other than these two. I went with like Robbie Schneider.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking for Schneider.
Schneider, but I mean he's Rob though. So.
Robbie Gould, dude.
Robbie Gould.
Kicker.
There we
Your
go.
Bears.
Chicago Bears.
Your Bears.
There we go. Yeah, this sucked dick.
Robbie Madsen, I think, is like a fucking...
I don't know, what is that? That fucking... Are you chiming? What are you, shaking
Oh,
a bell?
Rear, fucking... dirt, like, fucking...
I don't know.
Motocross, motherfuckers.
I
watch the X Games when they come on, motherfucker.
I mean, professional bell ringer? I don't know.
I wasn't doing this, jerk off. What the fuck is... I'm not fucking mixing a tea bag. What the fuck is this? I was fucking rubbing that shit.
Anyway, Robbie T won the match. I don't even know why this was even... I don't even...
Because they broke up as a tag team, that's why.
Right. And then we want a tree. We want to put a tree in the ring with...
As I said, he up front,
tree.
Rob Terry is a muscular tree up front.
Yep.
And behind, he is just a tree.
He's just a tree.
Overall, Rob Terry is a motherfucking tree.
he's 75% tree.
We also mentioned how he needs to be in a tag team with Biggie Langston because they both love Griffins.
Yeah, Griffins.
I guess big-ass, retarded-looking motherfucking wrestlers love Griffins.
Love Griffins.
For some reason, there's a connection with shitty tree-like wrestlers and Griffins. So we thought of just the Gryffindor tree duo.
Yeah, the Gryffindor tree duo.
Yeah, so...
God, just...
Hashtag
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter knowledge.
Harry Potter knowledge.
Boom. There it is.
Who's
Only
Harry
saw
Potter?
the movies, never read the books.
Yep.
Suck it.
Who's Harry
Right
Potter?
here. Just go watch Duck Dynasty, Roger.
Okay.
I mean, fuck.
I'll do that.
Just go waste your time. Next matchup, we had a triple threat match for TNA tag titles when champions Austin Aries and Bobby Roode went up against Bad Influence and Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez. Before Robert gets into this one, obviously we need to explain what's going on with Bobby Roode's situation. Obviously his contract came up.
And it actually expired.
On Sunday. Actually expired, and this is why I wanted to talk about it, because it's something backstage management kind of side that just fucking blows my mind. The fact that TNA did not even have a clue that Bobby Roode's contract expired or was coming up or was about to come up. Bobby Roode himself had to go to management, had to go to Pritchard, and had to tell them, hey guys, my contract's coming up. Do you guys want to sign me? I don't know. I'm alright. I'm only one of the best talent in the fucking world. It just blows my mind. I mean, I could see it if it was like a fucking anybody in the last match that we talked about. Oh, Robbie E's contract came up. Oh, I forgot about that. Who gives a shit? when Bobby Roode's contract comes up, you'd think he'd start to figure that shit out. But it looks like they got something figured out here, and obviously got a little bit more figured out with once you see the outcome of this. But we had the triple threat match for the tag titles up next.
Like I said in my preview, I think this was going to be a match of the night, and it delivered. I mean, just the names in this match: Chavo Guerrero, multiple-time champion. Hernandez, multiple-time tag team champion. Robert Roode, world champion. Austin Aries, world champion. Christopher Daniels, X Division champion. Kaz, X Division champion and tag champion. Just the ability that these guys.
Did one of them ever manage at a Walmart too? I think there should be more credentials there. I think somebody else did something.
He got a second place in
Christopher Daniels owns a strip club. I think. I want to say. I think he owns a strip club.
Just saying.
As good
Is
as
that a credential? Owning a strip club?
Yes.
It gotta be, right?
Okay, let him.
It's gotta be.
I guess so.
As good as these guys are in the ring, this match did deliver. Everything you thought it would. Just some of the false finishes, just the spots and whatnot.
You were gonna say spot monkeys.
Yes, it was actually.
Fucking racist.
Racism.
God
I mean,
damn
it came down where Chavo went to hit a 450. When Chavo went to jump for the 450, Rude
Chavo Guerrero was not doing a 450. He was gonna do a frog splash. Chavo
Frog
Guerrero
splash,
murdered himself if he tried a 450. Fuck.
When he
Love
jumped,
Chavo, he ain't doing that.
when he went to do the frog splash, Rude tagged himself in. So as soon as he hit it, Rude got the roll up for the win. So, retained for the tag team champions. I actually think maybe Rude made a one night agreement for this. He still may be leaving.
Why would they retain the titles if they did that?
Can anybody explain what TNA is doing?
Yeah.
I mean, they did say it is said that Triple H personally called
That is
Bobby
huge.
Roode.
That is humongous.
Yeah, it could have been a one night thing where maybe Rude, I'll go there that night, and they thought maybe
the way they were talking, the way
letting
Rude
him
was,
retain might have persuaded him to stay.
The way they kind of were talking and Rude and Aries were interacting with each other, it seems as though, and like we were talking during the pay-per-view, it seems as though guys like a Rude, guys like a James Storm, guys like an AJ Styles, even in the thickest of shittiest portions of TNA, that's how it's going to get. They're TNA through and through, and they're probably going to stick it out. Me personally, I think Bobby Roode should have went to WWE, should have signed a contract with him. I don't care. I know the biggest thing that would probably hinder it is if it has to get through developmental. We've seen what's been going on with guys like Chris Hero and wasting his time away. It should have been up on the main roster the day he signed a contract, but I could have imagined him thinking through some of that stuff. Like, I don't want to sit around. They had Bryan Danielson sit around in NXT or FCW for a fucking year. So it's like, if he's going to sit around for a year, how fucking long am I going to sit around or something like that? But to get a personal phone call from Triple H is pretty fucking huge. So interesting to see what goes on there with the future. But as of right now, Austin Aries and Bobby Roode still the tag team champions in that matchup there, and a really solid tag matchup. Next up, we had the first steel cage match. Had to prep it all and get the cage all set up and everything. We had Kurt Angle going up against Wes Briscoe. This is like I didn't really say it in the preview, but like I did say, if this was going to be anything decent or good, it was going to be Kurt Angle pulling that shit out of Wes Briscoe. I have not seen enough, at least TNA-wise, to prove that Wes Briscoe deserves being in this matchup. Whether it's to the point where Kurt Angle just wants to put the guy over and start to make him look good or something, whatever it is. Having him and Garrett, kind of hang out with him and then flip this angle on him and do all this kind of shit. It is what it is. But to me, I just don't think it's the right time for him to do that and the right person to really do it with. But it was okay. Nothing really too tremendous. We had the Aces and Eights involvement. And predictably, after the Aces and Eights involvement, we had the kind of screwing over Kurt and throwing Briscoe out of the cage and Wes Briscoe winning the steel cage matchup. For you viewers that watched the preview, our one and only Quaddy said that he would be over here, talking about this fucking matchup if Kurt Angle lost. We're not going to shit on Quaddy. He's tired. He's got to get ready for work.
2 a.m.
I texted him, so fucking, he ain't going to he wouldn't give a shit for one. I mean, Kristen, go give me the phone. We're just going to have an improv on the Pro Wrestling Pulse right here. I'll show you how much Quaddy gives a shit about this matchup.
If he picks up,
he's not
going to shit myself.
He's sleeping.
I'm going to shit myself.
He's so pissed off he's not going to answer.
I am going to shit all over myself if he picks this up right now. Here we go. You guys ready for this? That's how much he gives a shit, guys. He doesn't give a shit about Wes Briscoe.
He's just trashing his room. He's so pissed off right now, but Kurt Angle losing.
He's probably sleeping. Quaddy's tired.
Quaddy works a lot.
You guys get the gist. You don't give a shit. Because you know what? I don't give a shit about Wes Briscoe either. And I don't think he deserves to be in this matchup. And it really wasn't too special. He's just going to be the added-on guys with the aces and eights. And he shouldn't be in there with one of the best professional wrestlers, in the world today. It was what it was. Okay, decent, whatever. Wes Briscoe getting the win in that steel cage matchup there. Next matchup, we have the Lethal Lockdown match between Team TNA and Aces and Eights. Obviously, when you get into the Lethal Lockdown matches, you got the kind of chaos that kind of ensues once everybody gets into the steel cage element. We didn't have the fucking roof come down. We had Sting come out at the end.
Was this just a cage match, or was this called Lethal Lockdown?
It was called Lethal Lockdown. It was a Lethal Lockdown match. I guess the only element of Lethal Lockdown is the fact that when the last person comes out, he brings 2 trash cans with fucking weapons in it. That's Lethal Lockdown now.
Lethal Lockdown. You're locking the ring down. You could get off the top. We
had the spots that we've seen in the past, like AJ and Storm and those kind of guys do the spots up top in the past, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's just how it is management-wise. Not really giving a shit about some TNA traditions, and we've seen it with not having all steel cage matches on this pay-per-view. Just the couple that
King of the
Mountain. The King of the Mountain, not really focus on all Ultimate X kind of stuff, the 6-side stuff. We've been over it a million times, but that's just kind of something there's like, I guess we don't need to bring a roof down. Even though earlier in the night I thought I saw the roof up top, and I guess, fucking who knows.
They forgot to bring it down.
Sting just brings out all the weapons or whatever, who knows. Maybe the thing fucked up and it couldn't drop down, who knows. Had the just chaos ensue. We thought for the entire portion of this match when Sting came out, they were just going to have 5 minutes of just the entire face team just hitting all of the Aces and Eights members with weapons. We're like, all right, we're just going to do that and just have somebody pin them. But they actually made something out of this. We had the, the big Tower of Doom spot with Garrett Bischoff taking the brunt of that up top. We had the spot with Eric Young, obviously the finishing spot with the elbow drop off the top and getting the pin off that, and Team TNA winning this match up here. It's just, it is what it is. I mean, it wasn't the overall worst. I mean, it could have been the worst the way it was going, but it wasn't anything that special as far as Lethal Lockdowns go, but it made it to where it was at least kind of entertaining. And Team TNA getting the win in Lethal Lockdown.
I mean, you had spots where Team TNA just looked like they were just gods. You had spots where Aces and Eights looked like they were going to win it. That spot with Eric Young toward the end, he was on the top rope. It looked like he was going to maybe turn on Sting. But Sting points at him like Sting was going to turn on him.
Looked weird.
Yeah, it kind of looked awkward, like, what is going on here? Then Sting pointed up, and then Eric went top of the cage and jumped off, and the big elbow spot for the win. Letting Eric Young get the win. Mr. TNA, the guy's been there from day one.
Please don't call Eric Young Mr. TNA.
Well, the guy's been in TNA since day one. Has been kind of crapped on. Super Eric and just all the gimmicks he's had. But it was nice to see him actually get the pin in this against Aces and Eights and trying to, make people realize that Team TNA is, solid. They can win matches like this. But J-Man pointed out that 6 straight
Lethal Lockdowns? Something like that. Whatever, I guess in 2005 when Lethal Lockdown started, every face team has won Lethal Lockdown. And it continued here.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I mean, this was all right. It's basically how they do these matches now, these Lethal Lockdown type matches. Bunch of spots with weapons and every 2-on-1, it's 2-on-1 and then it's 3-on-2 and then everyone finally gets in there and
then it's 4-on-3.
Yeah, and then they do the whole deal with everybody getting in there and weapons and blah blah blah. And they do the big spots and and set everything up. Just a fun match, entertaining, and really can't say much more other than the 2 big spots that really showed up out of this, but fun match.
Yep.
Team TNA wins.
Next up, we have the Steel Cage matchup for the TNA World Championship between champion Jeff Hardy and Bully Ray. Obviously, like I talked about in the preview, really wasn't looking forward to this unless something happened in this one. Overall match quality, it was all right. The kind of stuff like I assumed that Bully and Hardy would pull off here. We had some spots up the top. They did that disgusting fucking powerbomb spot that they did with Bully and Hardy where he had Hardy up and just fucking nothing there. No give, no nothing. Just straight on the top of his fucking back. Sit down powerbomb.
Top of the cage to the right.
Like we've seen with...
Not top of the cage.
Well, from they had where Hardy was holding the top of the cage. Not from the very top.
Hardy
from the top rope.
Top rope, basically.
God, that would kill somebody.
Yeah, that would probably...
Good Lord, Robert.
You would be dead now.
It's Jeff Hardy, I was hoping.
Yeah, obviously the only kind of spot that you could see in, cage type element because you had him holding on to the top of the cage. Obviously there, and we got down to the final where we had, a bunch of Aces and Eights guys come out like we were assuming would probably happen here, whether or not something interesting would end up happening out of that. Had, 4 members of Aces and Eights, had Hogan and Brooke out there, and had 4 members of Aces and Eights in all corners, and had Devon pull out that hammer and toss it to Bully Ray, and Bully Ray hit Jeff Hardy in the back of the head, and turning on Jeff Hardy, turning on TNA, his wife, and Hulk Hogan, and all that kind of stuff, and being revealed as the president and the leader of Aces and Eights. As soon as we saw this kind of go down, and we're thinking, like, this really works. Like, it just, the setup that they really pulled this off, and I still... Now you guys say, well, you guys are fucking hypocrites. You guys say the Aces and Eights, all these people are talking shit about Aces and Eights. It had to come to fruition. It had to fucking happen for all these things to make sense. At the time, you know, when you had, like, basically Devon playing the leader, you had D-Lo playing the leader for a week or whatever, it looked like trash shit garbage.
4 days.
Yeah. And you had Devon, you know, back at Bound for Glory. This is how long ago this was. Bound for Glory, you had Devon, you know, kind of revealed as that head of it. So for this entire extent of this time, we've had basically the trash shit fucking garbage that's in this faction, which I still believe it's not filled with the right people. But you had Devon as kind of that guy that made a lot of sense that they were finally to turn bully with obviously the connection with Team 3D and all that kind of shit. Finally have that happen, the embrace with, you know, Devon there just makes so much sense. And like I was talking with these guys, I think it makes a lot of sense to have Bully win the title this way. Because I don't know if a lot of people would have really believed Bully Ray winning the World Championship just in a straight-up kind of match or this or that, beating Jeff Hardy this way. He needed something behind it to win the championship. And I think having him be the head of this faction and start to really get some legs underneath this angle, I think, because now this, to me, this angle's really started. Because everything else is just precautionary and really getting things situated. Now it's fucking taken off. And I think this is the right way to do it, telling that bitch Brooke Hogan that I set her up, I screwed her, and I used your dad and all this kind of shit. And Bully's going to pull the head piece and the mouthpiece of Aces and Eights off brilliantly. But like I said, still not the right guys behind it. But as far as the idea of what's going on now and the leader of it being Bully Ray, now the TNA World Champion, a lot of big stuff here. I know I'm rambling on here, but another thing I needed to get out, which I mentioned to these guys before, is something that obviously is always in the forefront of my mind, which is the phenomenal AJ Styles and what's been going on with him lately. Obviously, we've seen the stuff going on with going to Georgia and showing AJ and basically showing that he doesn't want anything to do with anything with TNA right now. And to a lot of people out there, this is, like I said, going to sound random as fuck, but it's something that really is starting to look legitimate now. Everybody out there has seen the Batman trilogy that Christopher Nolan has, put out, the fucking epic masterpieces that he's put out. After, storyline-wise, we'll go into some movie talk. After The Dark Knight, the middle one, you had, Bruce Wayne kind of pull away from being that hero, pull away from, saving the day, saving Gotham City, being that guy that's always to count on for, to save from the evil of the world and of Gotham City and all this shit. And in Dark Knight Rises, he had to rise, and he had to be the guy that comes back to the forefront and come back and save Gotham City and all this kind of shit. That is to a T what they are doing with AJ Styles right now. They had AJ lose that matchup in that triple threat where he can't get a title shot. They've had him kind of draw back, talk about how he had the worst year of his life and all this kind of stuff. Have him storm off on his motorcycle, which looked eerily familiar to the same kind of bike that Batman rides. I know it just sounds like I'm a fucking nerd right now, but all this stuff about him saying he's growing the beard and got the long hair and saying he doesn't want a part of it, you guys don't get it, all this kind of stuff, and having him to come back to the forefront and come back to TNA, a.k.a. Gotham City, to save the day from Aces and Eights, a.k.a. Bane, if you want to say
Bully
that,
Ray.
or something like that, Bully Ray. It's so fucking cheesy how it fits along to that, but I mean, it's really going to work brilliantly if they pull it off this way, and I know this is something that could not even come close to happening, but in my mind, we were talking about this in the setup with Bully Ray taking over what is TNA, and TNA is not described by anything but AJ Styles. He is Mr. TNA. He is the guy that is the superhero of that company, and he pulls it off to a T, and nothing describes TNA more than AJ Styles. And that, to me, would be brilliant if they pulled this off. Have it carry on throughout the entire summer, go into the fall, and maybe have something, go down with AJ and maybe Bully or headed of Aces and Eights and TNA and have that kind of clash go down would be brilliant. I think it would be awesome to see that happen. But until then, we have a lot of interesting things to be going on in the future. I'll stop rambling on now. Bully Ray, your new TNA World Champion and leader of Aces and Eights.
Yeah, with what he's saying about AJ and being like Dark Knight and being this, return with Batman Returns, have AJ return at Slammiversary, have Aces and Eight have all the titles, have him come in at the end of Slammiversary going, I got to save this. I got to save my TNA. Build that to Bound for Glory, which he can't have an world title match till Bound for Glory.
Perfect setup.
You build it the whole summer. You build it Bound for Glory. TNA comes back with AJ winning the title.
And if they stick with Bully, we've seen Bully and AJ execute some phenomenal matches too.
They've had history.
So last man standing match they had, I think at Slammiversary a couple years ago, was outstanding too. So it sets up perfectly.
I mean, overall the match actually was pretty good. You know, I wasn't expecting much out of it based on who was in it, but Bully Ray seemed like he was able to work a lot here, and I know him and Hardy got some history with TLC matches and one cage match in the past and stuff. So they kind of know each other. They kind of have some chemistry, so they're able to make this match work. But with Bully Ray, winning with Aces and Eights getting involved and telling Brooke Hogan, she's a bitch and all this, and he screwed her, and it just made Bully Ray look more legit, especially as a champion.
Yeah,
it's like, whoa, he's there. We got him for the summer probably until October. So,
yeah. Like I said, the match was okay. I had some good spots. That powerbomb spot is one of the better spots I've seen all year.
Spot of the year, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Quite possibly one of the best spots. Yeah, of the year, maybe the best spot. But yeah, like I said, match was okay. Agree exactly what J-Man said here. And it's to a T exactly. And I loved how they set it up. And you know what? Like, we've shit on Aces and Eights, but I've never shit on the storyline. The storyline and the concept. I've always thought it was good.
NWO.
Yeah, it's just like the NWO. It's a different setup, but it's always it was set up perfectly. Like, storyline, they really set this storyline up, and they built to this point, and they just kept. It's like you're watching a TV show, like with Aces and Eights. Like, if you go back and watch, if from the beginning, like what and the build up and everything, and then to this point, everything makes complete sense. It's like watching a movie. It was brilliantly written. The storyline, how to set it up. I kept saying I thought Bully Ray would be the best header for to be the leader of this group. They finally set it up. They did it like that. The only thing that I ever bitched about was the people they had in this thing. But now I could give two shits about who's in Aces and Eights. This whole setup was to put Bully Ray into the main event spotlight and make him the top heel in the company, and that's what TNA did. He's the top heel. We actually just had a conversation. When was the last time we saw a wrestling show at the end, or any wrestling show, where the fans threw things into the ring?
Oh, just like NWO. It looked like NWO.
Like, it was a great moment. It was a great moment for TNA, storyline-wise. It was brilliant. It was set up very well. The crowd bought into it. They threw people were throwing beer bottles and all kinds of stuff in the ring. It was covering the ring up. Bully Ray was selling it. He got on the mic. He said he was the president. They revealed this whole setup. It was genius. It was very, very well done, storyline wise, by TNA. Very proud of how they set it up, and it works. And they, Bully Ray, it makes the most sense, and all these people surrounded by Bully Ray to make him that main eventer now makes complete sense. And we'll see. And I love the idea with AJ going in. Brilliant. It's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I think I'm intrigued. I actually can't wait to see Impact. Yeah. It's like something to where, like, it takes that one thing for things to start to click and make sense. And like we said, we may have shit on it here and there, but like we said, the concept and everything, we were behind it all the way because it is brilliant. And like Ryan said, how they mapped this storyline out, how they had every little bit and piece of with this Devon. Figured out with Devon, and having the whole doing a whole entire side angle with having Mary Brooke to get inside to management and all this kind of with Hogan, and having him partner up with Sting and all the stuff we saw in the past, and put on the makeup and telling him how he's that guy, and he never gave a glimpse of turning either. No hints. He never gave anything. So you believed into it. You believed into the fact that they got over the fact of how he was struggling to get over to Hogan, that I am a TNA guy, I am against Aces and Eights, I'm here to help you out. When it started out, where had that transition from him being heel to being face and doing this run and building it up, it was mapped out perfectly. Like we said, the beginning stages of it looked like shit because it was all precautionary, but now Aces and Eights is happening now, and this is what they're doing it all right. The members of it, most of it might be shit, but it all matters about what they're doing with Bully Ray, having him be the leader of this, and what goes on into the future, and what they could possibly be doing going on in the future, which I hope ends up going down, because I think it would be brilliant for TNA, and it would be some great stuff to bring just so much more attention to what they're doing, and I think that's what they did here. And the intrigue right now is back in there, and I think they executed this perfectly. And Bully Ray, your new TNA World Champion at the end of lockdown tonight.
Cavzilla, baby.
Cavzilla, your new TNA World Champion. This will now wrap up our TNA Lockdown 2013 review from our partners Roberto and Ryan. I am J-Man, and thank you for watching another edition of Pro Wrestling Pulse, the Pulse, professional wrestling world.